Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. Today, we are discussing the extraordinary Breguet Classique Tourbillon 5317. In platinum. This is a 39 millimeter automatic winding 5-day tourbillon timepiece. So in platinum at 39 millimeters, it measures 11.3 millimeters thick, 48.1 millimeters from lug to lug, and has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and get a sense of how it fits. It's a large watch. It's not a huge watch, though. Being under 50 millimeters from lug to lug, I could recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It has a domed bezel, and it's fairly thin, so it will slide underneath a dress cuff, which I would expect a dress watch to be able to do. Take a quick look down the barrel. I'm actually pulling the strap fairly tight, so it's got more clearance on either side than it appears. Now, the strap, upscale, large rectangular scale alligator leather. You can see on both sides a sort of matte finish. There is some stuffing or bolstering to give it volume. It has a broad folded edge, a monotone stitch, calfskin on the bottom. You can see it's a brand new Breguet factory strap. These are large and symmetrical rectangular scales, suggesting that Breguet chose a very expensive cut of leather for this strap. And here we have a folding clasp in matching platinum. You can see that it is Breguet branded inside and outside. We have both media blasting and polish, and then there's a little bit of knurling on the edge so it's easy to grip. This clasp will give you security against dropping your watch while donning it or removing it at bedside. The clasp is held to the strap using screws and bars, and the strap is held to the case using screws and bars. That's a very secure and somewhat more expensive way to fix a strap than the rival spring bar system, but security and peace of mind at the expense of expense is an honest and worthy trade for a watch this expensive. After all, a few dollars saved using a spring bar is quickly lost if the watch drops. So here you can see that there's a screw, and then on the bottom there is a set screw. So this is quite well fixed, and that on both sides. Taking a look at the lug profiles, you can see the lugs are welded on. And this is a laborious process that involves creating the case and the lug separately, inserting the lug, welding the lug on, removing all of the gathered material from the weld, and that permits a super sharp break between case band and lug, but it is something that requires extra time to hand finish. But with a watch like this, you have all the time in the world as a Breguet artisan. We have cold rolled case flanks. That's how they create this coining. That is two finished up using hand finish. We have a case back that's domed with a flange, and then a bezel that's domed with a flange. And those two flanges define the mid case. We have a Breguet branded crown, and then we have a dial. Two things to know about this dial. First, it's made of solid gold. So it's a disc of gold inside a case of platinum. Second, it's cut on a traditional rose lathe and a straight line machine. So straight line machines, well, guess what? They make straight lines. They also make intersecting lines. And then rose lathes create billowing, undulating patterns like this rayon that you see underneath the power reserve. One might say that's a rayon or sunray style look. Now we have a hobnail or clou de Paris at center, and then a dental style molding around the hour track outboard. We have fired steel hands in Breguet style for the hour and the minute hand. So all the hands you see here that are blue are fired to achieve that color. The same is true for the screws that are blue. They are fired. Now you may ask, why is the solid gold dial silver? Well, first, the gold disc is cut on the rose lathe and the straight line machine to create the hand guilloche artisanal patterns you see here. Then it's silvered to make it look more traditional. Now you can appreciate that the bridge for the tourbillon has been triple finished. You can see around its edge there's mirrored anglage. On the edges, at least the top of the edges, we have satination, and then we have a continuous rounding and black polish or specular finish of the bridge as we move inward towards the tourbillon. You can see that the tourbillon cage itself has been black polished, so has the stud holder, and the structure underneath has been hand finished. The edges of the tourbillon cage are also beveled, and just as we have blued screws up top, assembling the cage, we have blackened screws, or I should say black polished. That's what that's technically called. It is a 1-minute tourbillon, which means it doubles as the seconds hand of the watch. It does not have hacking. That would be an uncommon feature on a tourbillon, but I feel I should still mention it all the same. The tourbillon beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, so it is a so-called 3 Hertz tourbillon. It is free sprung for durability and precise adjustment. It is adjusted in 6 positions to cancel out the effects of gravity in every position. It further features an overcoil hairspring, which was a classical Breguet innovation. That helps to center the mass of the spring and improve regularity in every position. Now what we have here is Breguet manufactured caliber 587DR, and you can see it's an automatic winder. This watch, which has 2 mainspring barrels, you can get them visible here, you can see them up at the top of the movement, has a 5-day power reserve for 120 hours. So we have a power reserve indicator, we have a tourbillon, we have the 2 barrels, we have 120 hours of reserve de manche, we have extravagant skeletonization and engraving, and take a look at that rotor. It is beyond belief, especially the interior of this highly polished and beveled B. The level of detailing here between the skeletonization, the polishing, and the engraving is as good as anything you will find in the industry. So while we don't often mention the modern Breguet company alongside the likes of Vacheron, Patek, Romain Gaultier, Grubel Forsey, Along und Söhne, we really should. Taking a look up at the barrels, you can see that the ratchet wheels are solarized, and so are the barrels beneath. We have mirrored anglage on the edge of every structure. You can see that there is no shortage of mirrored beveling, but then all of these structures have also been freehand engraved such that no 2 examples of this movement will ever be exactly the same. You can also appreciate that there's some beveling on the interior of the wheels of the train, which is something rarely seen on watches not made by, for example, very small independents or autologerie premier class watches like the Grand Complications from Patek. We can also see other elements such as the black polished screws, which are used universally on the case back. Those feature chamfered slots and chamfered circumference. And then we have satination on all of the wheels. It is truly beyond belief. All of it 30 meters water resistant, as good gets. No, not good, great. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com to learn more about this truly great Breguet Classique Tourbillon.